Hello, everybody, and welcome back to this segment of Student Schedule Walkthroughs. I told you last week we're going to be doing some videos, short videos. We'll also be communicating via email and Sky Alert because we want to communicate as we're moving along in our virtual world. So today at 3 o'clock, you will be receiving your schedule. Your schedule online looks very different than your schedule within Skyward. So we want to make sure that you see the two schedules side by side and know exactly how and when you should be going to class. All right, so your tour guide today will be Mr. Letty for the 6th grade, so let me pass it on to him.
Hello, Springford families. We'll get right into it. I'm going to start off with the teams. Our first team is the 6th grade settlers. We have Mr. Bean, Mrs. Williams, Mrs. Waltemeyer, Mr. Hill, Mrs. Edwards, Mr. Fickert, Mrs. Denner, and Mrs. Stockmall. We also have Mrs. Geppert, Mrs. Lip, and Mrs. Beal. The schedules look as the following. We have, if you'll follow my cursor, we have the first schedule right here is the in the building schedule. This is the one that you are going to see on Skyward. The schedule right next to it is our virtual schedule. And you can see here, 9 to 9:30, we have our morning meeting. And on the settlers, our first period, 9:35 to 10:15, will be your flex or target time, followed by either math or ELA. Now, this is where you're going to look to your Skyward schedule. And as you see here, if you have Mr. Hill, you will have math first. So from 10:20 to 11:20, you will have math. After math, you will have lunch from 11:35 to 12:05, followed by ELA. We can see ELA is the next one because if we follow the cursor and see on our Skyward schedule, ELA is listed after math. So from 12:10 to 1:10 will be your ELA block. After ELA is our 4th period, and that will be your special. Now, the special will depend on which day. We are operating on the 6-day cycle, so you will look to your Skyward and see which day art, library, physical education, health, RamQuest, or music fall on. And that special will run from 1:25 to 2:05. After specials, you will have science. Now, both switch partners will be having science from 2:10 to 2:50. After that block of science, they will have social studies from 2:55 to 3:35. That will be both classes. After that, you will have your office hours from 3:35 to 4 o'clock. That is a sample schedule for the settlers. Next, we have the Trailblazers. We have Mrs. Plitnick, Mr. Rizzo, Mrs. Caparella, Mrs. Schumann, Mr. Walker, Mrs. Webb, Mrs. Maini, Mr. Wolf, as well as Mrs. Schott, Mrs. Rosenblum, Mrs. Donatelli, and Mrs. Cortazzo. A sample Trailblazers schedule will look as follows. We have again here on the left-hand side our Skyward schedule that you will see, and we have our virtual schedule on the right. Again, 9 to 9:30, all groups are having their morning meetings. First block would be 9:35 to 10:15, which will be science for both classes, both switch pairs. After that, 10:20 to 11 o'clock will be your special. Again, to find your special, you will look to your Skyward schedule and find out which day you have your special and follow the day schedule, the 6-day cycle. After specials, 11:05 to 12:05 will be math or ELA. Again, look to your schedule. We can see here that ELA is listed before math, so you will have ELA from 11:05 to 12:05, followed by lunch from 12:20 to 12:50. Then 4th period will be 12:55 to 1:55, and that will be math because it appears second after ELA on your Skyward schedule. The 5th period, 2:10 to 2:50, is your flex and target time. Here we have it labeled as flex, and in your Skyward schedule it's labeled as target time. They are the same thing. After your flex/target time would be social studies. Again, that is going to be both blocks from 2:55 to 3:35. Office hours are again 3:35 to 4 o'clock. And that is a sample for the Trailblazers schedule. Our 6th grade Pioneers team consists of Mrs. Cava, Mr. Hilligus, Mrs. Mansfield, Mrs. Ray, Mrs. Craig, Mrs. Talone, Mr. Sussick, and Mrs. Weller, as well as Ms. Shukta, Mr. Seacek, Ms. Coletti, Mrs. Burkholder, Mr. Downs, and Mrs. Schultz. A sample Pioneers schedule, again, follows the same format. We have our Skyward schedule that you will see. On the left-hand side and on the right-hand side is the Pioneer virtual schedule. The Pioneers, like everyone else, will start out with a morning meeting from 9 to 9:30, followed by their specials, 9:35 to 10:15. We want to look over at the Skyward schedule here and find out what day each special occurs on. And again, it's a 6-day schedule. After your specials, you will have math or ELA. Again, we go right back to our Skyward schedule and see which one appears first. Here we see ELA appears first, so you will have ELA first from 10:20 to 11:20, followed by lunch from 11:35 to 12:05. The third period would be 12:10 to 1:10, which would be math because it, again, appears after ELA on our Skyward schedule. The flex/target time would be your 4th block, 1:25 to 2:05. Then we would have science. Both switch classes or pairs would be in the same science class from 2:10 to 2:50, followed by social studies from 2:55 to 3:35. And again, office hours, 3:35 to 4 o'clock for our team. I'm going to hand it back over to Mrs. Nunneveller to follow up with some more scheduling information.
So thank you, Mr. Letty, for going over that. So hopefully that was helpful for you as you're reading through the schedule so that you understand. We will be posting all of this online for you. We would hope that you would go in now that you could figure out exactly from your homeroom who your team would be. Then you would go on the website. It'll say Pioneers. You click it and you would be able to take that schedule right here that you see on the Pioneers sample here. And you'd be able to print that out, our virtual schedule, and you put that on the refrigerator so that you know exactly when to come to what class. Okay, during your morning meeting at 9 o'clock, that is something very important. We're not going to take attendance during morning meeting, but that is a time that you can check in with your teachers. It's also a time that we will be doing announcements. So those of you that are, those of you that are 6th grade, because you're returning to us, you know how neat the announcements were last year when the counselors did them. We're going to do some really great announcements again. There's going to be all kinds of things and activities for us to do in morning meetings. So please make sure you make it there. Once again, attendance is required at all your classes. So please make sure you're there. If you're not going to be there, please make sure that your parent sends an email or a note to your teacher, to the attendance office, so that we know that, okay? Because, we also know, even though we're virtual, sometimes we don't feel well, which is fine. We just need to make sure that we follow the attendance protocol, and you make sure you call the attendance line and let them know that you're not going to be there today. All right, we're very excited to have you back. We cannot wait to see you. This time we're just gonna have to see you online. More information will be coming out regards to distribution of materials. So that'll be our next. That will probably be in an email because that will go through kind of what the expectations are for distribution of materials. That will probably happen near the first week of school. So that will be next week. Hopefully we'll be sending something out for that. All right, guys, see you soon.